forced out of my own house into the Arctic weather, -22. It's freezing cold. I mean, I've got plenty of clothes on. I know how to dress for this kind of thing. But even so, the indignity of it all. I just have to get out of the house. I just can't stand it in there. I've just been trying to find out what happened in the Manchester by-election. And it was very hard to find out any information. Of course, I have to go to the wrong places to try and find it. When I go to the Daily Mail, there's very little mention of who actually won. The headline is something like, Keir Starmer must leave now. I thought, well, what's that got to do with the by-election? Where's the result? Then there was something about the Greens, but the headline was, Poisonous Greens will destroy Britain. But it didn't tell me what was the result. I just needed the result. Then there was this guy, Matt Goodwin, a very unpleasant fellow. And he was, the headline there was, this is sectarianist Britain at its worst. There is not a single person. Everybody in Britain is appalled by this. Well, I thought, well, okay, but who bloody won the thing? You know, I searched in the Daily Express and the Sun and the Telegraph and the Times, and all I could get with these headlines, like Labour is finished, Starmer is dead, and then a lot of headlines about Farage saying that they cheated. Well, who cheated? They cheated. I mean, this gave me the feeling that maybe Reform hadn't won there, that there was no great triumph for Farage. I really had to dig deep. I went online onto YouTube and I looked at GB News. And again, it was the same. Although there were about 6 or 7 programmes relating to the by-election, they were just talking about how this signalled the end of Labour. Didn't tell me the result. That the Green Party meant that Muslims had now taken over Britain. I don't know. It was all very difficult to find any information. Eventually, of course, I did find out what happened. And what happened was that by quite a large vote, the Green Party won the election. So all of this noise right across the internet seemed to be basically sore losers, poor losers. I mean, there was just no information there. Absolutely no acknowledgement that the people there had made their own decision and that the decision was a legitimate one. And Farage, who is using the Trump playbook of the whole cheating thing, I mean, he's already done they are eating our cats and dogs. Well, his version was they are eating our swans, do you remember? But then he went, which was a sort of replicating the Trump's they're eating our cats and dogs. And now he's doing the old cheating thing. I don't know how they were cheating. I can't kind of work out what he's actually saying. But it was a really sad, disappointing indictment of what is now happening in the UK. It really is a troubled place. Peter Hitchens, of course, he says in his recent column for the Daily Mail, he said, leave now. If you are able-bodied, if you can, leave now. What a strange place. And all of it's for nothing. Very peculiar. Anyway, so that was stressful enough. Just trying to get that basic information gave me a headache. And the ranting that was going on across the new media, and some of the old papers as well. The hatred, the disgust, the disappointment, blaming everybody but themselves. Looking for scapegoats. Seeing who they could victimize, who could they attack. And almost no acknowledgement that the people had legitimately made a vote, and that was the end of it. Just because things don't always work out your way, Farage, doesn't mean to say that you need to have a little strop. The Trump playbook is getting tiring. But anyway, it was all too much. Now, you might not think that that is a legitimate enough reason for me to actually get out into minus 22 and just go for a little cycle around. Just to get away from it, the noise. Because I realised that it's a swamp. It's a swamp of falsehoods, of propaganda, of hate, and that it's now endemic and it's spread into every crevice, and there's nowhere to turn. You know, you're either being fed this kind of nonsense or it's an advert for something that you have no interest in whatsoever. And they're coming now thick and fast, these ads, aren't they? The noise of them. They compress the sound on the ads, which means that they're louder than the actual videos. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not enough. That's not enough to risk your life, minus 22. That's not enough, Ian. Come on. And it wasn't just that. It was the fact that all the technical problems that beseech us now as we move from our phone to our tablet to our computer to our smart TV in an endless circle, trying to fix their little updates, trying to sort out the new apps, trying to deal with the notifications then come. Our homes have become charging stations. Have you noticed? I'm sure you have. Every plug now is got a little adapter in it, 5 watt, 25 watt, 80 watt. And that little USB Type-C lead popping out. Like a little tail, like a mouse that's stuck in the wall. In they go. The phones, the headphones, the mice, the computers, the headlamp torches, the dog lights, the bicycle lights, all vying for a little place, for a little feed up. I mean, really, I'm living in an electrical substation. And everything is so complex now that I feel like I'm wrapped up in spaghetti of these cables. Microphone cables and little lights and LED this. All of them flashing at me. Now, it's true that recently I had to buy some new equipment, and the new equipment was a test for me. It was a test for an old man's brain, trying to work out what it was doing. I can tell you what it was doing. It was downloading games on auto download, 157 of them, so that took a long time to wipe. And then the keyboard, the Bluetooth keyboard, wouldn't connect with the computer. And I mean, need I go on? Why should I bore you? But it's been days and days now wrapped up in this technology. Yeah, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in it. And then in the background, I've got all this news coming in. Donald Trump parading his ice hockey team, deciding to use his platform at his State of the Union speech to display his hatred of anybody who doesn't agree with him, telling those people on the Supreme Court who voted against his tariffs that their families should be ashamed of them. I had to get out. I had to get out. I had to turn off the news. And will I go back to it? This is the question. Should I go back to it? What would be the purpose? What use is anybody, is any single individual against this torrent, this tidal wave of crap? And why do we fall for it? So I cycled down to the sea through 50, 60 centimetres of snow, down this small path, until I was blocked and I couldn't go any further, and that the snow had drifted over the path and was too deep to cycle through. So I got off and I pushed the bike towards the sun in the distant distance, hoping for salvation. Whether it will come, I do not know.